Hi, my name is Glenna Evans, and I'm here to share my journey with Xyngular. I started my journey in 2012, but before I go on, I'd like to tell you why I started my journey. I have battled with depression since I was 16 years old, and I dealt with it most of my life. But at the age of 31 in 2003, I was told I had to have a full hysterectomy, which I did, and I ended up having to be on estrogen because I was in full menopause. The menopause brought miserable mood swings, hot flashes, more depression, and weight gain. For 2 years, I kept taking the estrogen, and I finally went back to the doctors and found out that the estrogen was not being absorbed. So with that, they decided to do a bone density test. Found out that I had osteoporosis in my back and my hips. And so I had to start being a little bit more careful because we didn't want me to take a fall and shatter my back and end up, crippled. So I continued to get even more depressed. I switched, I think, antidepressants 3 or 4 times during this time. I've even asked the doctor about my weight loss. He says you're getting older. It's normal. Your hormones. So I continued to gain. I wasn't losing. I kept asking how I could lose weight. I tried Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, a couple others. One of them actually almost killed me. I severely got depressed. My family, I argued with my husband, my children. I didn't want to be around anybody. And in 2008, I decided I would try committing suicide. I am here today to tell you I am so thankful that I did not succeed. But my life still did not change. I was more and more depressed. I couldn't sleep. I had acid reflux that was getting worse because of all the medication I was on. Then I found out in 2010 that I had celiac disease, and that was one of the reasons why they say that I was bloating the way I was. So now I was told that my diet had to be gluten-free. So I did. I went on the gluten-free, and I ate gluten-free for a year and a half, and I lost 20 pounds. My highest weight was 202 pounds, and for me, 202 pounds at 5'7" may not seem like a lot to some, but it is when I was normally 112. So I went through a severe depression. I hated looking at myself in the mirror. It was really hard for me to even come back to being me. So in February of 2012, I was in so much pain. I was shuffling. I was swelling. I had to buy bigger size shoes because my feet swelled. My hands were swelling. I wore a size 11 ring because my hands swelled so bad. I hated sleeping because it hurt. I hated getting out of bed because it hurt. I seriously hated doing anything on a daily basis. I went in and found out I had rheumatoid arthritis, and I had such severe levels of it that he automatically put me on arthritis medication and told me that because of the osteoporosis and because of the arthritis that I needed to take some precautions in my home. He wanted me to prepare my bathroom for a handicap so that I had the handicap rails so that I didn't slip, because if I did slip, I could shatter my back and my hips. He also told me that as severe as my arthritis was, that by the age of 50, I would probably be in a wheelchair. He also told me at that time that I needed to lose at least 20 pounds, but 30 wouldn't hurt, to get the weight off my hips. So I had been watching a friend on Facebook, a friend that I grew up with in the neighborhood. She was posting daily about the Ignite and the weight loss and how her cholesterol and her walking and how the energy she had. And I watched her for several months. And finally, after 6 months, I was invited to a party. A meeting is what they call it, but most of them were calling it parties when I would see it. And I was invited to a party to a friend's house. And the funny thing about that is I actually showed up on the Saturday before. I had the dates wrong, but this friend of mine was there and she was willing to show me the product and explain a little bit to me. And I jumped on board because I figured, what do I have to lose? So I started April 24th, 2012. I did a 7-day program and I lost 18 pounds. I don't know what I lost in my inches because honestly, I was so skeptical. I would not even measure myself because I seriously thought this was not going to work. When I started the product, I stopped all my medications, and I don't recommend everybody doing that. I don't recommend anybody doing that because seriously, after being on antidepressants for 20 years, I took a chance. My husband was scared to death, but I did. I went 7 days, no anxiety, no depression. I felt better than I had in 20 years. My moods was something I hadn't seen since I was in high school. I went again and did the Ignite. I did it for 2 months. I lost 40 pounds. I went from a size 16, 14 to a size 7. Still didn't measure myself, but I knew I was feeling better and I was happy. I was doing things I hadn't done. I was doing yard work again. I was enjoying it. I was going up to our property. I was having fun again. In the summer of 2012, I basically just did the supplements. I ate healthy. I continued the supplements. And I would lose a pound here and there, but I was feeling good. In November of that year, I decided to do the Ignite again. I lost 27 pounds in 30 days and felt healthier than I had in a long time. And I still was happy, and that was the most important to me at first. So that was, from the get-go, it was weight, but then the depression was gone, so I didn't care about the weight. So I continued to use the supplements, and I would Ignite here and there just to kind of detox myself if I knew I had done, unhealthy habits for the weekend or whatever. But in June of 2013, Brooke Decker had asked me to host a class because I had asked her about enrolling my sister and my aunt and some other people. And so I hosted this class, and I met Christy Welch. And because I was hosting, Christy put me on the spot to share my story. So I shared my story with Christy in the class. And Christy also asked me to write my story down and asked me why I had never shared in this whole, year and almost year and a half. And I told her it wasn't because this wasn't done for anybody but myself. This was my story and I did it for me. But Christy had told me by not sharing that I was being selfish. So I wrote my story down for her. I gave her a before and after picture. And the next day, Christy tagged me in it on Facebook, and I had friends asking me questions about the products and what I had done. So I continued to do a couple more Ignites, and I'm down 76 pounds, and I'm down to a size 4. I'm healthier than I have ever been. I went back to the doctors, and he checked all my levels, and of course, I'm not disease-free. I have still got rheumatoid arthritis. I still got celiac disease. But I don't have to take any medication any longer for it. My levels are so low that there's no reason for me to take anything. He did ask me about my antidepressants, and I told him what I was doing and how well I was feeling. And he told me he knew the product and to keep doing what I was doing. He told me that the Global Blend Juice is one of the best products that Xyngular has because it's an antioxidant. So he said, as long as I can afford it, keep doing it. So I have continued my journey. I am going on 2 years with Xyngular, and I am here to tell you that Xyngular saved my life. Not because of the weight, not because of the arthritis, not because of the osteoporosis or the celiac disease. It saved my life mentally. I am happier and healthier than I have been since I was in high school. So I'm here today to thank Xyngular for these wonderful products, the opportunities that they have given us, not only as premier customers, but to us distributors. Because of you, I have been able to go to Vegas. I went to Puerto Rico. I earned a trip to Sundance. I have been able to meet some wonderful people like Mark Walker, Dave Stewart, Julie Hart, Christy Welch, John Welch, so many people within the company that have inspired me. And today I share my story in hopes that not just for weight loss, but to help people with depression, people that are looking for help, looking to get out of that hole they're in. Because today, depression is something that we all have to realize it's a disease. We all should never be afraid to talk about it. I'm not saying that Xyngular is right for you, but I do think that every person should have the opportunity to listen, to educate themselves, and make the choice about the product. Thank you.